everybody, welcome back to another episode of Multipurpose with Lakshit, and I'm just grateful to each one of you for giving so much love to all the episodes. And I'm back with Raveena today. So Raveena is a plant-based chef, and she would tell us what she does more. And yes, so thank you very much for being here. And that would be great. You even within, you can just tell about yourself and what you do. That would be wonderful.
Hi, I'm Raveena. I'm the founder and owner of Yogisattva. So Yogisattva is India's first whole foods plant-based culinary academy combined with a farm-to-fork delivery kitchen. Pre-COVID, we were right on track to becoming a full-time cafe as well. However, those plans have been put on pause for obvious reasons. So I have an outlet, like I work out of a space on 15th Road, Bandra in Mumbai, but currently I'm working from home. So I'm fulfilling all the orders by myself alone, as well as teaching online classes. My staff live in all very different places, and it just wouldn't be feasible for them to get to work right now. So just to make sure the business stays alive and sort of lasts this COVID period, currently I'm working alone and out of home.
Okay, great. Yes. Before starting with anything, how did veganism enter your life personally?
So actually it wasn't planned. I had a severe spinal injury, and then I started practicing a lot of yoga, and I went to Goa to sort of heal my spine. So I just left Mumbai for like 7 weeks in 2015, and I went to Goa to just work on my spine. And while I was there, it's very common in the practice of yoga to consume vegan food. So, I was on this like vegan lifestyle, and I had so much strength. And growing up, like I turned vegetarian when I was 10. And then vegan was new for me because not having any dairy, so no paneer, no milk, nothing. But it just felt so natural to me. Like I felt like this is how I should have always been eating. And I immediately had such good health. I had great skin. My hair was growing really long. And the health benefits just outweighed everything else. And I was so strong, like physically, I was managing a very tough practice, and I was getting stronger. It's not like I was losing muscle or I was like, oh my God, where will I get my protein? In fact, I didn't even think about these things because I was getting stronger every day. And then I came back to Bombay after these yoga courses. So I became a certified teacher with to be honest, no intention at that time of teaching. And I just flew to Bali on a whim to get certified as a raw vegan chef. And then that's where the sort of journey began. When I came back, I didn't have any intention of opening like a culinary school or teaching or anything. It just kind of happened as a flow of events. So I started by just kind of offering smoothies to my friends after a workout.
Okay.
And then, they started recommending me, and they started telling their friends, and they were like, why don't you start selling this? I come from a very traditional Sindhi family. And for us, like food is like, how can you charge for it? Because, you sit at the table, there are so many people. So the idea of me selling food was so alien, because I was like, no, but I want to share it. It's a celebration. They're like, so my friends were like, after a point, you'll have no money to share it because you will not, you'll just continuously be spending. So you will not be able to do it, and that made sense. And it was really upon their encouragement that I started selling. So I used to just sell once a week, 2-3 things on the menu, only pick up. You had to return my containers because I was like, I'm giving you all these jars and all, you have to give them back to me. So I was very inflexible, to be honest, in the beginning of selling.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just word of mouth, like from suddenly these 12 friends, it became 25 people, 25, 50. And just within 3 months of like being open as a food space, so like Yogisattva was already sort of started as a brand, but selling yoga merchandise. But as I did more yoga, I realized that's not really where my calling is. It was more with food. So just within like 3 months of selling food, like I got picked up by High Blitz, I got picked up, by Vogue, by Grazia. So before I knew it, I was in business and I was just cooking every day. So it was like turn of events. I didn't plan anything. I didn't ever have a business degree. I had no idea about food, how to price food, how to get packaging. So everything I have learned is by experience.
Okay.
And everything I continue to learn is also by experience.
Okay. Okay. Yes. And what do you think where people fail in cooking? Like we tend to have. So I'm vegan. So I'm very new vegan. So I know till my parents kind of myths they have and they think. So what do you think we as human beings think kind of myths we have and stories we make about veganism, and what would be some of who you like to debunk them?
Okay, so I think the first, more than myth, I think the first thing that sort of scares people off from the kitchen is that they don't take any initiative, right? Growing up in India, we are sort of a dependent culture. We've always grown up with our parents cooking for us, or help in the house cooking for us. Very few kids grow up with that willingness to actually go into the kitchen and make a meal for themselves. So I think that has to change, like on a fundamental level. As kids, as teenagers, we should take more responsibility. From kids only, we should start going into the kitchen. So that should be a dialogue between the child and the parent, where they get more involved in the process of food. In terms of like the myths, I think the biggest myth, of course, is that, how will you survive? Where will you get your protein from? What about the supplements? Isn't it so tough? What do you eat? Just a salad? So I find all of these very interesting, because when people see the kind of food I eat, then they never will tell me that I eat only a salad. And I think I've made my entire business model on making healthy food exciting. So I wanted to revolutionize your just traditional sabzi bhaji roti and say, like, apart from this, what else can you have? And I love Indian food. I love our traditional sabzi bhaji roti. I love that. But then apart from that, what can I do? Like, how can I make food interesting daily? I live with a family of 5 people, and we all 5 have very varied habits. And it's not like anybody else in my family is vegan. But like, some eat certain types of meat, some eat certain types of fish, some don't eat either. One will eat egg, one will not eat egg, and then of course I'm vegan. So everyone eats differently. So how do you satisfy all palates? And I knew from the onset that when I became vegan, I took it upon myself to go into the kitchen and cook food for me. I didn't put it as the responsibility of the parent or the help of the house to figure out my food. And that is something, like, if you do, then a lot of it get busted, because once you're in the kitchen cooking, you know exactly what's working for you. Yes. And it's been now 5 years that I've been vegan, and I don't feel I'm low on protein. I get really good sleep. I have great hair. I have good skin. I also take care of myself. I exercise. I do yoga. And overall, like, I feel I have a better quality of life. I feel much lighter most days. And I don't know. I feel like each to its own. Like, everybody has a unique DNA, and I'm not here to preach veganism. That's not my goal either with Yogisattva as well. I just feel like, I am here to make all these exciting dishes, and I would love for you to try. That's really my goal. I believe in the policy of inclusivity. I'm not here to tell you what you can't eat. I'm just here to show you how I eat. And that's my only agenda.
Yeah. Yes. Wonderful. And what has been your tough challenges and major problems you have seen in your journey of Yogisattva?
Lots of things. I think, like, primarily, to be honest, as a woman working in India, you will always have certain biases against you, especially when you apply for like licenses, whether it's your food license, whether it's your when we opened our store, like, all the licenses we needed for then, and then now we are in the transition of becoming a cafe, so all the licenses for that. And just like, the way the authorities sometimes speak to you, they don't take you seriously if you're a woman. They don't want to give you all the facts, because they feel like you can't handle it. And you're just like, tell me, like, let's have a conversation. Why are we being so, why are we talking with these half words? Just tell me what's up, So I think that, like, the general bias where it's just expected that they will not, they don't think that you can comprehend what they have to say. That would be one. The other challenge was sourcing, because, we were, from the onset, I was really clear that I wanted to be all organic. Mm-hmm. And in 2015, compared to now, when I started, there weren't that many people like doing all organic, and it has really boomed in the last 5 years. But when I started like just getting a regular supply chain, I know I used to import a lot of ingredients that I wouldn't get here. That has changed a lot. I've become more local. So kind of that. But there are certain things like I feel, like for gluten, because I do vegan and gluten free. So certain ingredients that I still have to source abroad because price point is cheaper. It's cheaper to buy it from there and bring it here rather than buying it from here because the markup is 4 times. So there are like, you make adjustments and then you try and do the best you can.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in general, it was when I started, there was nobody else doing this. Nobody else was doing vegan and gluten free. So it was to explain those concepts and what it means. So my first 2 years of sale, I just spent explaining my product. Like I spent explaining what it is. I spent explaining what raw cacao is. Why am I cooking without dairy? Why am I cooking without wheat? So there was a lot of like physical effort that I had to put in. Until date, like if there are any exhibitions or pop-ups that the company decides to do, I physically go for them because I know that if I am there and people see my face and I can explain the product, it will definitely sell. So it is making sure that you're still there for your brand no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And apart from that, I guess just regular like staff challenges, keeping them, making sure they come to work and all of that. So it's been a journey of ups and downs. It's been a journey of learning because, like I said, I didn't really grow up with any business degree. I didn't have any understanding of finance. And I think as women in India, we're predisposed to not being in that knowledge because it's never expected from us that, they'll, do something. And in that sense, my parents are very liberal. Like they gave us a really great upbringing. They allowed us to pursue whatever we wanted.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like I should have taken more initiative in learning numbers and learning more about banks and savings and all of that. So that has been like my journey through Yogisattva that now I understand. I feel I'm still learning, but I now understand numbers better.
Okay. Yeah. And how did this what kind of you what kind of food do you love personally being a chef?
I mean, my palate is primarily Lebanese, Mexican, and Asian.
Mm-hmm.
So in Asian, anything from Thai to Japanese, to Burmese, Vietnamese, I love. Like all Asian flavors I love. And I definitely love Lebanese and Mexican. So I'm always recreating on that kind of zone. So, a lot of my savory food is a representation of that. Currently, I'm not doing my savory food. I'm just kind of focusing more on desserts. I'm working alone. But when we were kind of almost very close to setting up our cafe, we have a list of dishes that represent these kind of cuisines.
Okay.
And that's personally also what I would eat more at home.
Okay, great. And what kind of things or advices you would like to give to anybody who wants to become a chef?
I think first and foremost, be prepared that it's not easy.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're taking it and starting it out of home, take it seriously, because if you want this to become something, it'll only become something depending on how seriously you take it. So a lot of people think like home businesses are not real businesses because, you can shut anytime, you can choose not to take an order a particular day. So don't do that. Like take the orders, have clear working hours, have your off day in place, but take it seriously. And know that it's not easy. There's a lot of work you're going to have to do yourself.
Yes.
And there's a lot of struggle. Like if you get a culinary degree from all these hospitality management schools, when you come into a kitchen, you start at the bottom. So it does not matter like where you have your degree from, because you have no experience.
Yes.
And I worked and I catered at many yoga retreats across India and across the globe before I opened my own space for the work experience. So I've worked as a kitchen assistant. I've worked as a commis chef, a sous chef, and finally a head chef, managing my own sort of kitchen in a retreat model. So it was all the work experience that gave me the confidence then to be like, okay, I can open Yogisattva. So don't feel, I would say, like, don't feel ashamed of starting at the bottom. Instead, look at it as an opportunity to make your way to the top. When we opened Yogisattva, we interviewed a lot of chefs and we got a lot of, beautiful applicants from very prestigious chef schools. absolutely unwilling to start at the bottom, because they were just clear that their skills gave their skills were of more value. And
Mhm.
I totally understand that. But in India, there is no job where, the minute you leave your graduate way, the minute you leave college, you suddenly get a high paid job. You always kind of start at the bottom and make your way up. And that same goes for everybody in tech, in engineering, in doctors. They also intern before they get a job.
Yeah.
So be open to that mindset. I worked a lot for free before I decided, like, okay, I need to now, also learn how to get paid for this. So even when I was selling food from home and when I took up different internships, I did them for free because I wanted to learn. My knowledge, like the knowledge was the hunger. So that was more important than anything else. So figure
Mhm.
out ways, that you kind of create a flexible mindset in that aspect, and prove your merit. Stay loyal. If you decide to work for one company, stay there long enough to at least gain the knowledge before you quit. So I meet so many chefs and interview so many chefs in across different positions who've not lasted any job at 3 or 6 months, and that's usually a red flag. So if you want to be a chef, be prepared that it's not easy. It's hard work. You have to truly love food. Um, you have to be willing to wake up and stay passionate about the job, because the learning is never ending. Today, as a plant-based chef for like 5 years, I still feel I have so much more to learn.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just at the tip of the iceberg. Like I need to explore so much more. So keep that passion going, because that's what will drive you to do better. That's what will drive you to change, your menu, to work harder.
Mhm.
And whether you're starting, like I said, independently or working for someone, get experience, like work outside, so that your mind opens up. That is really important.
Okay, okay. And this is it was a very basic misconception everybody has. A lot, not everybody, a lot of people has, that healthy food is boring. So what would you like to tell them?
Come to Yogisattva. Like, we teach, we sell food. So you can either learn from us or you can buy food from us. But healthy food will never taste boring if you come to us, because this is my specialty, to spin off healthy food and just make it exciting. And I think it's truly the awareness. What has happened is we've become sort of a culture of convenience. If I come home at the end of my workday, I just want food that I can bake in 10 minutes, or like pan fry in 10 minutes, have my ketchup that's coming out of a bottle, have this sauce coming out of a bottle, and eat it. Not that I want to physically make anything and keep in the kitchen. So, the culture of convenience, there are ways to crack that. There are ways to do healthier forms of meal prep. There are ways to chop all your veggies and keep them ready. So that if you plan, you'll always be at an advantage when it comes to like making healthy food tasty. And take initiative, like, go back to how our grandparents would eat, where there was no like chips coming out of a packet or no processed refined oils. It was much more organic, it was much more nutritious. They ate a lot of fresh food, a lot of fresh vegetables. Their snacks, I don't think all were healthy, but even the ones that they made at home, even if they were fried, they were made at home. That is something now like we don't do at all. So we need to go back to being in the kitchen. So
Yeah.
healthy food will be tasty as long as you take initiative to make it tasty. Otherwise, no angel is going to come and save you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. And what you at a personal level, what kind of problems did you see managing a lot of different things? Managing yourself as a chef, and then managing your business, managing your life, being a vegan. So how did you manage these three things together, and what kind of problems did you face?
I think the biggest way that I kind of manage, I would say, my life in all these three aspects was through yoga. Because whenever I felt lost, I always found answers on my mat. And whether that's spending, doing a very easy flow or doing a challenging flow or just sitting on my mat and meditating, it was always kind of my yoga mat and my yoga journey that gave me that confidence.
Mhm.
Before pursuing like cooking and stuff, I was pursuing a career in acting. And through that phase of my life, when I kind of went through like so many auditions, and I never actually like I never got a role that I wanted, or I went through so many rejections, I took it very personally. Like, I took it as, I am being rejected as a person. So yoga kind of helped me understand that my value is not determined by my work. So today, I'm very clear about my work hours. Like, when I go to work, when 6 o'clock, work for me ends. So I'll get like tons of messages, tons of DMs, but I respond the next day because I've given my focus already for the day. So
Yeah.
I try and kind of have that work-life balance. I'm also like very open to, taking help when I need it. So whether that's in my personal life or in my workspace, I reach out to people I think that would help me, whether it's friends in the workspace, it's colleagues who have their own cafes, their own restaurants, or who've been in the business for years. I always reach out for help. Personally, I feel like, if I'm having a low mental health day, I'll always reach out to a therapist. I'll get some meditation in. Like I now actively seek help when I need it, which was something I didn't do earlier, because I was very closed as well as a person. But through my journey of Yogisattva, and I feel like especially in the last kind of 9 to 10 months, my perspective has changed a lot. And even with COVID, it's an extremely grim situation. But to be very honest, I have learned a lot during this period, So I just decided that I can approach this COVID as either accepting that nothing is going to get better and everything's going to fail, or I can accept it as a challenge and be like, okay, what can I do within this frame of work? Like, what can I do right now to sustain my business and just keep it alive?
Okay.
And honestly, this break has given me so much time to even do like the strategizing of my business. When you handle like a brick and mortar space, you often forget to do the other bits. Like, you don't have time for strategy because you're only managing staff, you're looking after your space, all the electricity, the plumbing, everything, the responsibility is on you. So apart from always cooking and having, kind of all of that work put in, you don't have time mentally to strategize. And now I feel I'm putting that time in. I've always hired external people to do like my food styling, my food photography. I've been learning how to do that myself. So I'm a big believer in, of course, taking help when you need it. But as a business owner, you must be as independent as you can. You should try and learn how to do most things yourself, so that when you do hire professionals to do their job, you are aware of what you're looking for. Like, a lot of the times, when I hired food stylists or food photographers in the past, I had no idea what was my brief, right? Because I didn't know what I was looking for. So I would leave it to them and be like, you come up with a concept and show me. But now, having taken active initiative in understanding what goes into it, I can now give a brief. Because I've understood that I have a certain sense, like I have a certain aesthetic sense. So I feel, these are the things, like use this opportunity of that, this universe has given us, everybody, a really big break, not in the best of the ways, but use it as an opportunity to learn. Whether you've closed an existing business or you are trying to keep an existing business alive, use it as an opportunity to learn as to what other skills and life skills you can equip yourself with. And that's what I did. I just decided I'm going to study. So I study, I teach, and I sell food. And it is a lot of work right now doing it by myself. But I'm very motivated. Like, I feel very excited because this is all I want to do with my life, So I see a lot of other things happening for the future of Yogisattva, but I definitely see this as my path.
Okay. Yes. So it almost brings that to an end. I'll ask 5 questions for you, which you can answer in any way you wish to, short, small, big. So what has been your best advice you ever received?
My best advice that I ever received. So I think it's from my dad, and he said this since birth. And he said that there's no shame in asking for work.
Okay.
And I feel that holds true even today. Sometimes, when you grow up in a certain set of family conditioning or a certain set of privileges, or you are very exposed to having, a very wide set of education at your doorstep and all of that, you feel ashamed. Like, what if I ask this person? How will it make me look? And I think that was one thing that I never had. So when I was approaching all these different retreat owners across India and across the globe, that please hire me. I have no experience, but please hire me. I want to come and learn, So it was like a shot in the dark. I just took it, and if it reached, it reached. When I pursued acting, I went knocking on all doors, as many doors as I can, to be like, please give me work. And I never had shame in asking for work. So that kind of has still pushed me forward till date today. If I feel a platform or a celebrity or an influencer, if there is a way I can collaborate with them or figure something that would help my brand be more visible, I just reach out and ask. It's absolutely okay if they decide to say no, but I'm not underconfident in reaching out. So reach out. Like, this is your job as a person. You have to keep trying. You have to reach out.
Yeah, very true, very true. And what has been your worst advice?
Worst advice. Let's see. I think my worst advice would probably be, let me see. This is tough because I actually try and not focus like on the
Okay.
bad things.
Okay.
It just get out of my memory.
Take your time, no problem.
Yeah, I think my worst advice was when somebody told me that I should put a timeline. Like, there should be a timeline to this. So I feel like goals are not limited to timelines.
Yeah,
I think you can put up a picture of a house on your board, and you can from your 20s start working towards wanting that house, but it's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's any age for manifesting. I think you have to continuously work at something. So I don't personally believe in any timelines for goals. I feel you should have goals. You should have really big goals, and then figure out small actionable steps to make your way to them.
Okay. One cooking secret that you don't share.
One cooking secret that I don't share. Ooh. One cooking secret that I don't share. I don't know, because I share a lot of content now and I share so much in my classes. So nothing's really a secret. I'm a firm believer in actually being quite transparent. So even when you get a package product from us, all the ingredients are listed out. So there's nothing that I don't share. I think the only thing that'll go with me to my grave is my dairy-free ice cream recipe and some of my cake recipes. Others, I share everything.
Okay, great. What would be your what has one special advice you would give to your close friend who would ask you to become like if somebody comes and tell you that, hey Raveena, I just want to become a chef and you are a chef, tell me what would be your one advice to that your friend or anybody listening this, one special that is very close to you.
If they want to be a chef as well,
Yes,
or
yes.
just generally?
Yes,
So if they want to be a chef, be prepared to work hard and be consistent.
Okay, yes, great. So last question. Before ending this session, what would be your special message? Any kind of message?
I think my message will always be the same. That's with Yogisattva as well. So I'll just explain what Yogisattva means. Yogisattva essentially means yoga being. And yoga is an eightfold path to enlightenment. So everybody's sort of on a different stage of that path in their lives, and making everybody a Yogisattva essentially. And I think my biggest message would be with my brand and with the kind of life I lead, is that never force anybody to pick a lifestyle that you firmly believe in. Let them come to their understanding and knowledge when they feel like it. Be somebody who includes people, and don't exclude people. If you continuously force your beliefs onto people, you make sure that they go away from your life. So try and have that opportunity instead, not to over empower with education, but rather have sort of the ability to excite the palate. That is truly what I feel is a better way of doing this. Don't be a preacher, because you'll be left with no one but yourself. Try and just be open, like have a flexible mindset. Not everyone is you. Everybody has a unique DNA. It is not your job to change everybody's way of eating. And food sort of intake is our basic right. So everybody has the choice to decide for themselves. And just like you did, respect that they have also.
Yeah.
That would be my main message.
Wonderful, wonderful. So yes, thank you very much for being here and making this session wonderful. I really, really loved it. You took it to the next level, and thank you very much for being here. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, and please reach out if I can be of any help in the future. Thank
Sure.
you.
Thank you.